हाय फ्रेंड्स, गुड मॉर्निंग, जय हिंद। कैसे हैं आप लोग? गुड मॉर्निंग, जय हिंद। आई सी सम ऑफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी जॉइंड। गुड टू सी ऑल। व्हाट अ डे इट इज, व्हाट अ डे इट इज। गर्मी शुरू हो गई है एंड गर्मी शुरू हो गई है, बट व्हाट वी सी हियर इज गुड वेदर, गुड वेदर। एंड आई एम बैक विद द डेली न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस। सिर्फ फर्क ये है कि tomorrow onwards for 3 days there'll be no newspaper analysis because I am traveling to Pune. I am traveling to Pune and I will be seeing you all today and tomorrow in Pune. और कोई बच गया तो परसों, ठीक है? So I will let you know my program, where I am staying और कहाँ पे मीटअप करेंगे। आज आपको हम ये बता देंगे, ठीक है? चलो, so all set for the morning session. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Yeah, good morning, Virat, Kunal, Ashok, Sanu, Soni, Tanish, Pradeep, Rohit, Abhi, Shivam, Ankita, Ayush, Manish, Nikita, Vaibhav. Good to see you all. चलो, तो ज्यादा टाइम नहीं वेस्ट करेंगे, सीधा चलेंगे इंडियन एक्सप्रेस पे, सीधा चलेंगे इंडियन एक्सप्रेस पे। एंड जो ये G20 में ड्रामेटिक्स चल रहा है उस पर बात करेंगे। हाउ वी आर कवरिंग दिस ऑलमोस्ट रेगुलरली एंड ये चलता रहेगा टॉपिक सितंबर तक या नवंबर तक। सितंबर में मेन मीट है हेड्स ऑफ स्टेट की, बट 2 मीटिंग्स, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स एंड सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ गवर्नर्स की एक मीट हुई थी, एंड देन yesterday was the concluding session of the foreign ministers meeting, and then we had a meeting of the Quad, foreign ministers of Quad, and then you see the differences are out in the open. So here, first time joint statement of foreign ministers mentions Ukraine war. Day after G20, Quad sends message to Russia, China on Ukraine aggression. So while the foreign ministers meeting could not have a joint communique or a joint statement at the end of the deliberations, the Quad members did take out a statement at the end where they sent a clear message to Russia and China. So they target China over aggressive behavior in the Indo-Pacific. So China was there in the not in Quad, but there. So they target China, they target Russia very, very openly. So here you can see a nice picture of the 4 foreign ministers of the Quad. Quad के बारे में मैं बता चुका हूँ. But immediately there's a counter. There's a counter at Raisina dialogue where the Russian foreign minister was one of the guests, and he says he hits out the West saying Russia, India, China will meet this year. So he says Russia, China and India will meet this year. आगे उन्होंने बात करी है कि they can facilitate India and China becoming better friends. तो ये Russian foreign minister की बात है. So here we are on this. Then of course there is going to be history in the making today. History in the making today as dusk settles today evening in Mumbai. The women cricket will rise. Women cricket will rise. So today is the first match. First ball will be bowled in the Women Premier Cricket League, which starts today. There are 5 teams in the fray, and the first match आज शुरू होगा बॉम्बे में, ठीक है? So if you get time, थोड़ा बहुत देख लेना, but don't waste too much of time. Now the broadening of the scope in this particular G20 meet, the editor says the first reference to Ukraine war in joint statement of the Quad foreign minister means the grouping, which had so far been concentrating mostly on the aggressive Chinese behavior in the Indo-Pacific, has broadened its scope to include Russia. The minister sent the Kremlin a clear message by calling for peace in Ukraine and the need to respect sovereignty and territorial integrity. तो अभी तक जो Quad था, what they are trying to say, अभी तक Quad was mostly making anti-China statements of warning China not to be so aggressive in the Indo-Pacific. You are aware of Indo-Pacific region, but this is the first time they have included Russia and sent a clear message for peace and respecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine, जिसके अंदर की Russia has gone in for an invasion. Then we have the Raisina dialogue has started. It's an annual dialogue, मैंने बताया था, conducted by ORF, Observer Research Foundation, MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, is fully involved in it, in speakers and what will the panels. So here, Quad is like soft Beatles. Members can release solo albums. Japan minister. So Japan minister says, here is, you can see Japan's foreign minister Yoshimasa Hayashi and his Australian counterpart Penny Wong during a panel discussion at Quad member. So she's the foreign minister of Australia. ये Japan के हैं, and he's saying उन्होंने बोला it's like Beatles. They can also release their solo albums, so they are independent. Then there is a panel in which the Indian CDS, along with the U.S. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis and Australian Chief of Defense Forces Angus Campbell, are at this. So they are discussing India needs to have technology weapons to fight swift as well as long war. This is what the CDS, our Indian CDS, says. So ये भी है. Now we come to the editorial. Here it is. Here it is. Both the editorials and the centerpiece. First, we'll take the centerpiece. This is written by Mr. S.Y. Qureshi. He was the former Chief Election Commissioner. So he says, in Parliament's court, Supreme Court order on EC appointment brings greater credibility to institution of Parliament must bring law. So he's talking, who himself has been a Chief Election Commissioner and author of a book, Undocumented Wonder, the Making of the Great Indian Election. So he says there is a sense of triumph and jubilation as a long pending demand has been met by the Supreme Court on March 2nd. So he says the new procedure will go a long way in bringing about greater credibility and impartiality to the institution. Most importantly, this will ensure that the perception of neutrality of Election Commission will be maintained. We know that the institutions must not only be autonomous but also appear to be so for the sake of public perception and trust. बहुत अच्छी बात है कि जरूरी नहीं है कि institutions autonomous हो. Autonomous means independent हो, free from pressure from the government in power, but they should appear to the public also like that. But if the government just sends a name and the president assents it, then that impartiality and autonomous nature is that is a perception created in these people. What the court also said may be weak-kneed and may not be as fair as what they should be. Now, this is no full stops at G20. Heading बहुत अच्छी है, and there's a foreign ministers meet underlined crisis in multilateralism. Yet India must remain optimistic about September summit. So this is the challenge of multilateralism. ठीक है, bilateral दो जने बैठ के बात करें, that is bilateral. Multilateralism is when you get many people to talk and agree on a subject. It is like group discussion. 10 लोग बैठते हैं group discussion में. Sometimes you may not come to any conclusion or you don't agree because the lines sometimes get very, very well defined. So So the paper is saying the inability of the group of 20 foreign ministers who met in Delhi this week to agree on final statement was no surprise. Given the current polarized world environment amid the continuing war in Ukraine, expectations from G20 meeting were not too high. Yet the fact that foreign ministers could not agree to reiterate a formulation on Ukraine that they had articulated in G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia last November underlines the deepening great power conflict and worsening crisis of multilateralism. So this is what the paper says. So they say, but India should be hopeful. Hope by September, if things happen, there is a ceasefire, we may get a communique or a joint statement. Otherwise, we may not get. The second one is on think tank. This is criticism of the government in which a think tank has been raided. Their foreign remittances have been stopped, and searches have been carried out. And this is one of the India's leading think tank, leading independent think tank. So tax notice to CPR threatening to scrap its tax exemption is bullying. Now all too familiar, it needs strong pushback. So what they say, this is a Center for Policy Research. This is an independent think tank in Delhi, Center for Policy Research. So the paper says this is bullying, कि bully कर रहे हैं उनको कि you must not criticize the government. So then they give example कि anyone who criticizes the government, any of this like Oxfam or there's a Bangalore-based independent public spirited media foundation. So this kind of a restriction, इन्होंने बोला तुम्हारा PN का भी तुमने income tax form क्यों नहीं check किया? So that is the kind of this thing. So the paper says there need to be pushback and we should not accept this kind of a bullying. So ye, this is not so good news when such news travels abroad, that independent thinking is not, is not being encouraged. That is why this. Then you had a raid on the BBC offices for 3 days in Delhi and Bombay. And then CPR, license getting cancelled. Oxfam, so these all send a wrong message abroad. Now we have an article on Myanmar. उसके बाद कवर करूंगा नेपाल को दूसरे पेपर से कवर करूंगा, हिंदू से. There is an article on Nepal. So I always say, please look out before you start discussing Israel, Palestine and Egypt, Turkey, Syria and all. Must know what is happening in your backyard. That is our neighborhood. तो ये बात म्यांमार की है. India and international community must not ignore repression by military regime or the movement to restore democracy. So आपको पता ही है म्यांमार के अंदर क्या सिचुएशन है, मैंने कवर की थी अपनी क्लास के अंदर, that there are many groups which are fighting the military. Military junta which is in power, a dictatorship, military dictatorship, and Aung Suu Kyi is in jail. And उस पे कई charges अभी, if the military doesn't go, she will remain in jail all her life. She will die in jail. That is the kind of sentences she has got. So this is a senior fellow from CPR and former ambassador to Myanmar, Afghanistan and Syria. तो गौतम मुखोपाध्याय ने ये लिखा है. Then of course we have some bit of news on Scholz, that is the Chancellor of Germany, and Biden to discuss Ukraine war as fears grow of China help to Russia. So Germany is in the forefront along with America. So if China goes on to help Russia, then a small, you can say, World War-like situation can erupt. That is what they are. So that is happening. Bakhmut, जो मैंने बात की थी अपनी क्लास में, that is surrounded by the Wagner group, जो mercenary group जो लड़ रहा है रशिया की साइड से. Mercenaries. Actually, there are mercenaries from Ukraine side also. I was told the people from a lot of nationalities are fighting on either side. So ये नया new dynamics we are seeing in warfare, where mercenaries are ready to come and fight for one side or the other. These are retired people or ex special forces from any country. They have gone there. उनको वो चल रहा है. Nothing much in the explained for you all today, so we will end it now. And as far as the Hindu is concerned, I am going straight. मैंने फोल्ड ही करके रखा हुआ है, बीच में बात ही नहीं करेंगे. We go straight to the editorial. Picking the watchdog, Nepal's collision, politics, a game of musical chair. So we'll go to picking the watchdog. ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट इशू है. ये कल की जो जजमेंट थी, 2 तारीख की जजमेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, इसका बहुत बार जिक्र होगा. Please know why this judgment came, what are the parts of the judgment, and why did the Supreme Court do what it has done. So picking the watchdog, यानी watchdog होता है देखभाल करने वाला dog, somebody who can watch security. So picking the watchdog, your election commissioner is a very very important. किस डेट को इलेक्शन होना है, कितने पार्ट्स में होना है, कहाँ पे कब होना है, किस पार्टी को किस कैंडिडेट के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करनी है, किसको क्या सिंबल देना है, किसको रिकॉग्नाइज करना है. दिस इज ऑल इन द परव्यू ऑफ द इलेक्शन कमीशन. So that is why the court verdict on manner of choosing poll panel is a boost to its independence. So maybe now whatever we will get here on, unless these people resign who have been appointed, which they will not, in future probably we will get election commissioners who will be selected by a panel of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and Chief Justice of India. So this was again, it's a big boost. That is what the paper is saying. And this is judgment was given by Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph who has said that the court's decision on the inertia of the legislature and perceived vacuum in the absence of law. Then we are again creative formulas. India must help find the middle ground on Ukraine among the G20. The test of Indian diplomacy. The test of Indian diplomacy is, can we find the middle ground? क्या हम बीच का रास्ता निकाल सकते हैं? Can we bring Russia and America and China on the same table and agree to at least some basics? So let us wait and watch. ये है भी नेपाल का. This is written by Rakesh Sood, who is a very, very prominent ex-diplomat. He was ambassador of India in Nepal. तो भारत के राजदूत थे नेपाल के अंदर कुछ साल पहले. उन्होंने लिखा, he says Nepal's coalition politics a game of musical chair. So he says coalition politics in Nepal increasingly resembles the game of musical chairs. In Kathmandu too, it's the same cast of characters who have been taking turns for nearly 2 decades. So he said 20 saal se it's the same characters who are playing musical chairs. The tragedy is that scant attention is paid to the critical issues of unemployment, national indebtedness, and development challenges. So everybody is running after the chair or whether they can be a minister or in the government, but nobody is worried about unemployment and national debt and development challenge. So a coalition collapses again. So this is the coalition which जब मैं शुरू में कहा था ये जब coalition बना था कि बहुत ऐसा coalition है because they fought election against each other. This is what happens in South Asia, India, Pakistan, Nepal, where you fight election in each other, but after result you are ready to sit on the same table and join hands. So what about the people who voted for or against you? So in 1 second, whatever was your mandate, you have ignored that. So he says the last coalition government formed in December after the elections has lasted just 2 months. It was stitched together by KP Sharma only with the idea of breaking away the moist by promising the prime ministership to their leader Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda. Mr. Prachanda had formed an alliance with Mr. Oli in 2018 but broke in 2020. तो ये 2020 में इनका alliance टूट गया था. So this is as far as Kathmandu is concerned. But India is a major player. India is a major player. हम realize नहीं करते हैं India का role in Nepal, in Bangladesh, in Myanmar, in Bhutan, in Sri Lanka, in Maldives is undisputed. China इतनी दूर से आ नहीं सकता, ठीक है? और countries नहीं आते. So anything that happens, either it is anti-India or for India. तो ये बड़ी मुश्किल हो जाती है इंडिया के लिए कि कुछ भी होता है तो but India must not take interest in their internal politics. We must stay away. इनको जो सरकार बनानी बनाए. We should focus only on connectivity and development. तो जो connectivity है हमारी रेल रोड एयर वो इनके कंटेनर्स पहुंचने चाहिए नेपाल के टाइम पे because that is their main fear. That should happen. And people to people contact trade because Nepal is a landlocked country and it depends on Indian ports for all its imports and Indian ports for all its exports. तो ये ध्यान में रखने की बात है. Now we come to Punjab. This is Waris Punjab Day, this group which is making headline, and this is the person who is now becoming very famous, giving interviews to all international channels, newspapers, TV channels, and almost bringing back the dark days. So this is a very, very well researched article by Vikas Sachdeva in Punjab, fear of the return of dark days of 1980s. And I have lived those days for the entire decade 1981 to 92, exactly when what happened and how the situation changed. किस दिन बात करेंगे. So terror and security has gripped Punjab after an armed mob led by radical preacher laid siege to a police station in Ajnala and got their demand fulfilled. So they got, निकाल दिया उन्होंने, निकलवा लिया बंदा. While the people believe that there is no widespread pro-Khalistan sentiment, they perceive a breakdown of law and order in the state and demand immediate action against anti-national. But there is no action. There is no case of sedition. There is no action. And maybe the government is waiting for a proper time. तो ये लेके गए गुरु ग्रंथ साहब को साथ में, and they were also carrying swords, large amount of swords and weapons with them, and they stormed the police station. तो पुलिस ने बोला कि कोई बात नहीं, we will release the person and cancel the FIR. another interesting thing is this meeting between our foreign minister and the Chinese foreign minister. आपको पता है India, this after 3 years, this first time this level of meeting is taking place. This पहले तो high level meetings were so many regularly meetings. Prime Minister and Xi Jinping were meeting so many times. But after Galwan, there is a freeze in relations, political and diplomatic relations. Trade is going on. तो ये है. But and China says that border issues should be kept in proper place. कई बार Chinese का समझ नहीं आता क्या बोल रहे हैं. You just can't understand what they mean because they speak in Chinese, then it is translated. So here, this is King Gang meeting. So visiting Chinese Foreign Minister King Gang in talks with EM called on India to look at relations in the context of once in a century changes in the world and to put the border issue in the proper place. तो proper place कौन सी है पता नहीं. On Thursday's talks, he had flagged that India had flagged abnormal. हमने बोला हमारे relationship abnormal है. इसने बोला border को रखो proper place पे and let us do trade and other things. The Chinese side meanwhile has sought to delink the boundary from the rest of the ties. तो जैसे बाकी जो चल रहा है ट्रेड चलनी चाहिए, ये चलना चाहिए, people to people contact, direct flights नहीं है. कहते we are ready to start direct flights, we are ready to admit Indian students to our universities and all that, but border issue को उसकी जगह रहने दो. While putting forward that Indian military has seen an unacceptable demand in the long-running continuing negotiations that have dragged on for close to 3 years. तो 3 साल से negotiation हो रहे हैं. Corps commander level की 17-18 meetings have taken place. In this 3 years, 3 corps commanders have come and gone. 2 army commanders have come and gone. Mr. Kin, in what is his first visit to India as foreign minister for G20, said China supports the Indian side in fulfilling the chairmanship of G20 and is ready to strengthen communication and cooperation to safeguard the common interest of developing countries. तो ये है India China की बातचीत का, which is very important. We need to speak and, if possible, resolve the differences and in a manner that Indian side is heard and there is no tension on the border. चलो, तो अभी मैं लूंगा आपके questions. I have the third paper, but I have decided now probably I'll cover one paper only and try to wrap this entire thing within 30 minutes or so. ठीक है, चलो. तो अभी let me take any good questions. पुराने क्वेश्चन और उस टाइप के होंगे तो रोस्टिंग होगी. ठीक है. हाँ सर, एग्जाम का प्रेशर आ रहा है, हाउ टू ओवरकम, और डर भी लगता है. डर लगता है फिर मत दो एग्जाम. अगर डर लग रहा है मत दो एग्जाम. डर क्यों लग रहा है? डर तब लगता है जो आप यू आर नॉट श्योर ऑफ योर सेल्फ. फियर तब लगता है, नर्वस तब होता है व्हेन यू आर नॉट श्योर. जितनी पढ़ाई उसके हिसाब से ज्यादा ही नंबर आएंगे. ठीक है. Sir, CDS exam scheduled to conduct 15th April. So much pressure, anxiety. How come and focus on studies consistently? Suraj, NDA, CDS. एक तो ये अपनी ID वगैरह थोड़ा चेंज करो. CDS लवर, NDA लवर, CDS एंट्री. क्यों ऐसी ID बनाते हो मुझे समझ नहीं आता. दाढ़ी वाला फौजी, कट्टर सनातनी, इस टाइप से मत बनाओ. तो कोई बात नहीं. 15 अप्रैल है, बहुत टाइम है. पूरा 1.5 महीना बचा. 1.5 महीने में तो हमने CDS ऐसे ही फोड़ दिया था. 1.5 महीने में तो जिसने एक दिन भी नहीं तैयारी करी वो भी पास हो सकता है. तो पास हो जाओगे. ठीक है. सर, क्वाड जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट कैन अफेक्ट इंडो रशियन रिलेशंस. इन स्टेटमेंटों से कोई अफेक्ट नहीं होता रिलेशनशिप. ठीक है. एंड रिलेशनशिप म्यूचुअल बेनिफिट से होता है. रशिया इज सेलिंग वेपन्स, उनको कैश मिल रहा है. हमको वेपन चाहिए तो हम उनको पैसे दे रहे हैं. हम उनका ऑयल खरीद रहे हैं, रशिया को पैसे चाहिए, वो ऑयल बेचने के लिए तैयार है. सो देयर इज नो कोई, मतलब इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है. ऑल रिलेशंस आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन गिव एंड टेक एंड म्यूचुअल बेनिफिट. सर, द इंस्टीट्यूशंस कैन बी ऑटोनोमस एज वेल एज अकाउंटेबल टू देयर सिटीजंस. यस अंकिता, वेल सेड. व्हाट इज रशिया's प्लान फॉर इंडिया, चाइना, रशिया, ट्राइका ग्रुप इन फ्यूचर? आई डू नॉट थिंक व्हेन हम ऑलरेडी क्वाड का मेंबर बने हुए. हम क्वाड का मेंबर बने हुए रशिया के साथ एंड अमेरिका के साथ. एंड दिस ग्रुपिंग इज बेसिकली टू hem in, checkmate and control the rise of China. और हम चाइना के साथ मेंबर बना लेंगे, ट्रॉइका बना लेंगे. ट्रॉइका जो बन सकता है वो चाइना, ईरान एंड रशिया है, नॉट इंडिया. When are you taking free classes? अनिकेत 162 लेंगे कुछ दिन में. इंडिया चाइना सिचुएशन, नो वॉर नो पीस. यस. Ashok Reddy, I will explain. this insurgency in Punjab in 80s and 90s, not in a live session like this, but when I discussed the entire how it panned out. Raj Burande, you sent me the article, but I have not got the time to see it. Sorry, but I will see it. CDS exam on 16th April, very good. What is your opinion on Indo-China trade in amidst of border conflict? I have done a class on it, and the trade is booming. इसका मतलब जिन्होंने सामान खरीदना है बेचना उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Ankita Singh, yes, you have your views. Ki we should forget about put the border issue aside and do trade. Bhumanjay Tomar, sir, I want to officer, but how? Please tell. Bhumanjay, आप पहले तो कम्युनिकेशन कोर्स ज्वाइन कर लो मार्च वाला, ठीक है, so that at least you will get that confidence in your communication skills and your personality कि you have some realistic chance of making to an officer. But सपना देखो, हमेशा कहता हूं सपना देखो फिर उसके लिए काम करो. Sir, I want your views on recent judgment of do you think the judicial overreach? Absolutely no. I think it's a very good judgment. We needed this. The election commissioners must be appointed by a committee like this. Not only them, CBI director, ED director, all of them must be appointed. And the leader of opposition and maybe chief justice or any other constitutional authority must be involved in decision making. Bilkul sahi. It's a good judgment. If border issue aren't resolved, we haven't resolved them in 75 years. So let's see how many years it'll take. We have border issues with Pakistan also, legacy of our independence. Sir, मैं फर्स्ट ईयर में हूँ, सीडीएस एग्जाम क्लियर करके एसएसबी दे सकते हैं क्या? भाई आरएम एकेडमी, आपकी भी आईडी आरएम एकेडमी है, तो आरएम एकेडमी पहले यू कांट ज्वाइन अनलेस यू आर अ ग्रेजुएट ना. जब पहले ग्रेजुएशन तो जरूरी है, तो लास्ट ईयर में आप अपीयर कर सकते हो, लास्ट सेमेस्टर में. हाउ टू आंसर इन एसएसबी व्हाई शुड आई सेलेक्ट यू? काली प्रसाद नायक, ये फॉर दैट यू विल हैव टू, आई कांट आंसर लाइक दिस. आई हैव टू सी यू, टॉक टू यू, सी योर पीआईक्यू कि आप कहां से आए हो, क्या बैकग्राउंड है, क्या एजुकेशन है. ऐसे क्या हर एक का एक आंसर हो नहीं सकता ना. मेरा आंसर अलग है, तुम्हारा अलग है, विराट का अलग है, सागर का अलग है, शिवानी का अलग है, दीक्षा का अलग है. अब ये कॉपी पेस्ट क्यों चक्कर में रहते हो? वाई डू यू ज्वाइन द आर्मी? सर आंसर दे दो. वाई शुड वी सेलेक्ट यू? आंसर दे दो. नहीं होगा ऐसे. राम राम साहब, राम राम सागर. My opinion on Balochistan, many times I've said this. मैं CDS house to stay away from distractions like expensive things. Don't buy them, Shivam. Don't buy them. And if you are so rich that you can buy them, then give this money on charity. So distractions हैं, I agree with you. सबके लिए distractions हैं. But if you do goal setting, if you write your diary, if you have a habit tracker, और आपको पता है भाई मेरे एग्जाम के इतने दिन रह गए, मेरा करंट अफेयर्स में ये हाल है, मेरा मैथ्स में ये हाल है, इंग्लिश में ये हाल है, बैठ के पढ़ना पड़ेगा और कोई तरीका नहीं. गौरंग मल्होत्रा, सर इंडिया स्कोर 74.4 in World Bank Index on Working Women. Okay. Delhi High Court on judgment of AFO joining batch 2022. I don't know. I haven't seen this judgment. Chalo. So I think, so what you do, I will share my Telegram link. जो नए बच्चे हैं, join the Telegram link. All information about the communication course, the SSB guidance program, Genmore magazine will come to you on the Telegram channel. So एक है मेजल यशमोर Telegram channel जिसमें 15,500 करीब बच्चे हैं, and साथ में More Academy which is interactive. You can share your thoughts, you can share your YouTube videos, you can share your notes, और आपस में कोई भी डाउट होता है तो वो सब आप जो है आप शेयर कर सकते हो. ठीक है. So again I'll put this for you all. Again I'll put this for you all, and you can subscribe to this and see your life change. See your life change in a positive direction. ठीक है. चलो तो मैं डाल देता हूँ. So this was on the feedback of Aman Pinto कि सर keep it short. Keep it short. तो इसलिए एक अखबार तो हमने छोड़ ही दिया है, and one newspaper in detail and दूसरे पेपर का only the important part. ठीक है. Thank you अमन. Thank you रुद्र प्रताप, शिवानी, रोहित, MBBS abroad, हेलो अविरल गुप्ता, राज बुरांडे, व्हाट आर बाईपोल्स? बाईपोल्स होते हैं जब इलेक्शन के बीच में अगर किसी की डेथ हो जाए, इलेक्शन के बीच में अगर एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट की, एमएलए की डेथ हो जाए, या कोर्ट से उसको जजमेंट इज अनसीटेड फ्रॉम दैट सीट, सीट वेकेंट, इफ अ सीट फॉल्स वेकेंट, जब इलेक्शंस होते हैं उसको बाईपोल कहते हैं, उसको बाईपोल कहते हैं, ठीक है। और अदरवाइज पूरे देश में लोकसभा इलेक्शन होते हैं, स्टेट असेंबली के एमएलए इलेक्शन, सब सारी सीटों पे होते हैं, बट कई बार जो है बीच में यू विल हैव टू हैव इलेक्शंस अगेन, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड बाईपोल्स, ठीक है। So next 3 days, friends, I will not be available. Next 3 days, that is 5th, 6th, 7th. There will be no newspaper analysis. I will be in Pune. I will be reading the Pune newspapers, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, some of you who are in Pune. So tomorrow, I'm chief guest at an event in Pune. I will share all that, everything like that, मेरी location and everything with you on my Telegram channel. Telegram पे and Instagram पे आपको सारी की सारी I am reaching tomorrow. I am reaching Pune tomorrow, Rohit. Kal I am reaching in the afternoon. Evening is my event. And then I'm there on 6th to meet some of my Fauji friends and meet you all and then come back. ठीक है? तो चलो. Rudra Pratap, sir, I am in JE preparation. What should I do for SSB now, please? For SSB, keep reading newspaper. Keep reading newspaper, current affairs. अपनी पर्सनैलिटी पे जोड़ दो. Thank you, Arpit. Good to see you. Happy journey. Take care. Thank you, Aman. Kartikeya Yadav, 11 more. Kiss. Keep it short and simple. Yes. KISS. Keep it short and simple. And keep it short and simple. Stupid also. ठीक है. चलो. तो बहुत अच्छा लगा. So keep watching what is happening on G20. Keep watching what is happening in the country on other issues. Keep reading. Broad-based views बनाने हैं. Broad-based views बनाने हैं. ठीक है. एंड अवॉइड क्रिकेट, क्राइम, सिनेमा, 3 C's एंड P पॉलिटिक्स. ठीक है. चलो, ऑल द बेस्ट टू यू. हैव अ वंडरफुल डे. नाउ आई विल सी यू ऑन 8th March. 8th March होली है. होली के दिन करना है एनालिसिस तो बता देना मुझे, कर देंगे अपने, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. ठीक है. इफ द न्यूज़पेपर्स कम वी विल बी टच विद यू ऑन होली. चलो, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट टू यू. टेक केयर. थैंक यू वेरी मच. जय हिंद.